Prominent Atlanta attorney Tex McIver is accused of intentionally killing his wife Diane in September of 2016 while they were riding home through Midtown Atlanta. McIver claims he fell asleep in the back seat when a loaded gun in his lap accidentally went off, striking his wife, who was sitting in the front passenger seat. Danny Jo Carter, Diane McIver's best friend of 40 years, was driving the SUV that night. She drove the couple to Emory Hospital, where Diane died the next day. In December, about 3 months after the shooting, Fulton County issues a warrant for McIver's arrest. The charges include felony involuntary manslaughter. McIver turned himself in later that night, but was free on bond just 2 days later. Things change on April 14, 2017, when police find a gun in McIver's Buckhead apartment, a violation of the terms of his bond. Later that month, McIver is indicted on new upgraded charges, including malice murder, felony murder, and witness tampering involving Danny Jo Carter, the woman who was driving the SUV. Judge Robert McBurney is presiding over the case in Fulton County Superior Court. He denied bond to McIver once the murder charge was announced, but a few months later, in October of 2017, set bond at $750,000.
There's really one thing that you need to know about Tex McIver and Diane McIver to know that he did not intentionally shoot his wife, and that is that he loved her.
On Diane's death, he went from negative $5,000 to over $1.1 million cash instantly. And he was the executor and one of the beneficiaries of Diane's $7 million estate. It was aimed right at her back.
He's fallen asleep. When I get back in my park, the gun just discharges and goes off.
And she's driving as fast as she could. And she says the defendant tells her, slow down. You can get this case dismissed. And if you do, there's a large bonus in it for you. And I won't mind if you share it with the DA.
You said she made loans to the defendant, Mr.
Yes.
McIver. And did she expect Mr. McIver to pay her on time with interest?
His loan was interest only, so he only paid interest.
Okay.
He didn't pay any principal.
Now, you said his loan. Tell the jury a little bit about his loan and what the loan was for.
The loan was for $350,000. I'm not sure what the loan was, what the money was given to him for. It started January 15th of 2012, and he made interest-only payments. It was a 3-year term originally, and the payments were $1,531 a month. And at the end of the 3 years, Diane came to me, it was January, I guess, of 15, to say, I've re-upped the loan for another 3 years, and I've reduced his payment to $1,400 and something. It wouldn't be in the checkbook registers. It was a whole, I had a file for each person that had a loan out, and each month it had the amount of the payment, and then I posted the payments as they were being made.
Okay.
So there is a spreadsheet for that someplace.
The loan was for $350K?
Yes.
And it was how many years?
The original was 3.
Okay. And that started when?
January 15th. The payment was due on the 18th of the month, and it started in January. I think it was 2012.
And it was 3 years from there.
Yeah, and it was $1,500 and some change a month. My partner is interior designer, and the condo, the second condo, when they put them together, the kitchen was torn out. It was just a big party room with a bedroom. And Tex had asked us what we thought it would cost to put that condo back as a condo, if he wanted to put them on the market.
When you say put that back, you can split them back up into 2 condos.
Right, and you'd have to put the kitchen back in, and put it back together.
And sell them separately.
Yes.
And this was less than 24 hours after Ms. McIver.
It was
shot.
either I went Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. It was one of those 3 nights.
That sounds like a funny question. Take a minute.
Do you need a break, Mr. Brown?
I'll be all right. Just give me a minute. It's what my job was. And that's how I saw it. It was very important to me to finish. I'm sorry.
Just take a minute, take a deep breath.
I didn't think it would be this hard. It's been too long. Okay. So that's why. It was important to me to finish her life.
Because her money was so important for him.
It was important to her.
Stop doing that. Don't argue through your questions. Save that for, if you want to give closing, negotiate with Mr. Rucker and his company.
Did he, after showing him your documents, your spreadsheets, did he say anything about her finances?
Well, he thought she had more money than what she had. He was surprised at the number that was in her checking accounts.
And if you do me a favor, would you describe to the jury that evening the observations, the times that you saw the defendant throughout the night? What was his demeanor like?
He was emotionless.
Can you kind of explain to her, what do you mean by emotionless?
He did not appear to be upset or distraught.
Objection, Your Honor. Her opinion of the demeanor.
Two is Ms. McIver trying to speak to you? Is she able to speak to you?
When I entered the room after I had spoken to her husband, she was starting to ask questions. She asked me if she was going to die, and yeah.
And was that all the questions that she asked you?
Yeah, she just asked me. She looked at me and said, "Am I going to die?"
And when she said that, did you say anything to her?
I said, "No, we're gonna help you."
Okay. Now, while she's in that room, is anybody else trying to speak to her?
Yes, Dr. Hardy is speaking to her.
Okay. And is Ms. McIver responding?
She did respond, yes.
And without telling me what Dr. Hardy said, what did you hear Ms. McIver say?
I just heard it was an accident.
And when you heard her say that, was that after you spoke to the defendant right outside of critical room 2?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that all that you heard her say, or did you hear her say anything else after that?
I believe at one point I heard her say, "It's hurting," and that's it. At that point, we still hadn't located the gunshot wound. It wasn't evident, like I said. So I started questioning him. I leaned in kind of a comforting manner and said, "What happened? What's going on?" And he said to me, "It was an accident. I had the gun in the back seat, and it just went off, and it was an accident."
So let's break that down. So you ask him what's going on, and does he answer you immediately?
No, it's a delayed response.
Okay. And when he finally responds, what's the first thing he says?
He says it was an accident.
And were you there this evening?
No.
Should I read this? Oops.
Go to Google.
there this evening?
No.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Facebook special. Some really emotional stuff happening inside the courtroom today. You're just watching some of the video and some of the other highlights, but that video really powerful today of Diane McIver being brought into the hospital, Emory Hospital, from the SUV where she was shot by her husband, Tex. I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us. Got my legal dream team with me tonight, Mal Ivory and Meg Strickler, both great defense attorneys. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to talk, let's talk first about the video itself. And this is being put out there by the prosecution. Some question, and watching it here from the beginning, does it help or hurt Tex McIver, this video? What do you think?
I think this hurts him big time.
Why?
This just watching it even now makes me emotional. I have a lot of trouble watching a human being being treated that way. If you watch her, there's so many parts that's like a comment on. I could spend an hour. But in general, the main part that kills me is that that's a human being and they're treating her like she's not even a dog or a pet. And the worst part for me is you're saying that he didn't rush or whatever. What part of this video does not scream starkly, why you call 911?
Yeah.
There's no one running around this video saying, oh my God, this woman is unconscious and she's been shot. If they had known that, they would have been waiting for her with a gurney, with proper medical personnel, not the valet.
And 911 may have sent him to a different hospital
Yes,
as well.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, he didn't call 911. That's already been established. But I don't think this video today, as heartbreaking as it is, seals Tex McIver's fate. In fact, it shows him jumping out of the moving car while he comes into the hospital. And we all know he wanted to go to Emory. It's where he knew people, where he felt most comfortable. He jumps out of a moving vehicle. He calls to the valet guy, get a gunshot, gunshot. And the valet guy sees a wheelchair right there. First reaction, get the wheelchair, bring it over to the car. And that's why she ended up in the wheelchair. As heartbreaking as that wheelchair is, that was the mode that would get her into the hospital the fastest. And everybody, including Tex, tried to get her out of the car, put her onto that wheelchair, and then the nurses came and he grabbed her leg and they tried to get her in as fast as they could.
But she's shot in the back.
Yes,
Why would you move her?
Sure, but at
period?
that time they did not even know where she had been shot. There was not
That's
a lot of
Tex's
blood.
fault, because you see him coming out of
Sure.
the car. Why did he run into the hospital and say to the ER people in the front desk there and say, help, I need help. She's been shot in the back.
Shock.
Because the back makes it, where's, oh no.
Shock.
Just aggravates me,
So
really.
there's going to be the argument. He was in shock, and he was yelling, "Gunshot! Gunshot!" He was trying to get that wheelchair.
No.
He was trying to get his wife into he knew it was an accident. It's a heartbreaking scenario. But I tell you what, the defense will make the argument that he was acting as quickly as he could to get her into the hospital and to get her treated, and she herself said it was an accident.
So the question becomes where you're differing on this
Yes.
is he obviously didn't pick the best mode, right?
Correct.
So the
Sure.
question is, does he not pick the best mode because he wants her to die, or does he not pick the best mode because he's not thinking straight?
Yeah, he's in shock. He's a 75-year-old man. He's
No.
very privileged. He wants to take her where he wants to take her. He wants her to go in with his help. I think there's going to be a strong defense argument made that a man of Texas stature, age, would have done exactly that,
I
being
think
in
it looks
shock
like
from
a
the shot.
callous indifference to human life.
Yeah.
That's what I look at it as, because here you have somebody, yes, he gets out of the car, but as you see him pulling out, walking up, he walks up and kind of directs the car to come in, on this video you see, then he walks up to the car door. Why doesn't he tell people, hello, come get my wife, she's hurting? Callous indifference. He wants to control the situation still.
Does he
And
want to
even
control it because he wants her dead and he
Yes.
planned it and he did it on purpose?
I think it's all about the alcohol, and I do think it's been growing anger. So even if he had a little bit of alcohol, they have been spent together the whole weekend, he's just done. And you continue to see it. Yeah, I see callous. I see
indifferent,
callous. Yes.
a-hole, insensitive, killer?
Yes.
Well, he is a killer. He's a killer. The question is he a murderer?
Is he a murderer?
Is he a murderer?
Very good.
Big legal
Is he
difference.
a murderer? Is he a
Right.
murderer?
Now, one of the things, we had a lot of nurses testifying today, and we see several of them here.
Yes.
Statements were made by Diane McIver, as we see her go in there. She said some things. She said, and it was very emotional and powerful, am I going to die? I'm going to die, right? So she thinks she's going to die. She also says it was an accident. And we know the doctor is going to come in and testify that she said the doctor asked, do you want to see your husband? She says no. What do we do with those statements? Are they consistent? Are they inconsistent? Do they tell us what's going on in her mind? Do they reveal anything about this relationship and a potential motive here?
I think it shows a lot. It's very unfortunate that we didn't have any more words because she went unconscious and then stayed unconscious and woke up very briefly. I think it was an accident is very telling. Obviously, that's pretty good for the defense.
That's really good, right?
Yeah.
That
but
means
I
he
could
doesn't have to
still-
testify.
But I could still argue. For some reason, I'm prosecutorially oriented on this one. I'm a defense lawyer. Who am I doing this? I mean, why am I
Call him
saying
as you
this?
see him.
But in my opinion here, you could argue that she's been in an abusive relationship. And so she's saying it was an accident because she still wants to protect the SOB.
Or not in an abusive relationship as much as not a great marriage, which
Same
many
thing. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are in. Not
Yeah.
a great marriage. Maybe when I'm dying, you're not the last person I want to see. That doesn't mean you planned my murder.
No,
so
I think
we
that's
do
more painful.
we do have to take it, the fact that she said it was an accident without him coaching,
Yeah.
without him giving her those words means a lot for the defense. Now the nature of the relationship, it will come into it, but will it be enough?
Yeah, and again, she believes she's going to die because she says those words. They try to comfort her, but that's on her mind. At the
But
same
she still
time, she's
loves
saying, I
him.
don't want to
That's why
see
I
my
was
husband.
saying
Sure.
An abusive relationship or just a crappy relationship, same concept in the sense of she ain't happy. She knows she's 73 at the time or whatever time it is. And so she's thinking, it was an accident. She doesn't know. She's in the front seat. She doesn't know what happened. She just knows that the guy sitting in the back, I'm shot and I'm about ready to die. Maybe she still feels love
She's
for him.
also a very smart woman.
Yes.
A corporate executive, very wealthy, and I feel if she had a dying declaration to make, she might have made it at that moment. So if it was so bad, the marriage with Tex, she might have instead not said it was an accident, it was Tex.
And not wanting to see
And she
your
did it.
husband. I mean, my goodness, you don't want to see your husband. You know you're dying, and you don't
Yeah.
want to see your husband.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not
pretty
good.
profound.
I want to tell you what's
very
happening on social
profound.
media right now. There's a conversation about, you brought up 911. Why didn't
Yeah.
he call 911? Some folks on social media, we've got, who do we have tonight talking about this? We've got Lauren talking about it. Monica says the driver didn't even call 911.
Correct. That's
Okay, Latasha
telling.
says Danny Joe, who was the driver, should have dialed 911 since he wanted to be controlling. And I think someone even said the driver should be charged.
I agree. Criminal negligent behavior.
Johnny
here.
says the driver should be charged. All right.
Yes.
So
There's a button in your car that you can push 911. You don't even have to use the
it's
phone.
not her car.
Yeah.
It's not her
But
car.
all cars, I swear, for the past decade, it says 911 in a little call.
So we're gonna put that
Are you
on,
kidding me?
on
Can't wait to see what Danny Joe, the driver,
That is going to be
has to
good.
say. That is one of the most important witnesses in this
Mm-hmm.
case, for what we're
But
going to
there's
think about.
already some, at least here with our 13th juror, there is some negative groundwork being laid for Danny Joe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Could that be a problem for prosecutors or not necessarily?
Well, it's a dangerous witness to bring in, and
We don't know which
we
way
don't
she's
know-
leaning,
we don't
what
know
she
where-
thinks.
We don't know where her allegiance is. We don't know anything as us watching, but it seems to imply the prosecutor doesn't know either. We'll see if they call.
Because they haven't put her on
Is she
yet?
Texas friend, or is she more?
Correct, yeah.
Is she more Diane's
Well,
friend?
she was Diane's friend.
Well, she was Diane's friend.
But they had mutual friends.
Yes.
And this was other testimony that came out that when they'd go on vacation, people would come with them.
Everybody, they're always with
They're
people.
always
Yes.
entertaining, and there's people with them. They're at the ranch, at the apartment. They're
Yes.
here, they're there. They're on the golf course. So I'm sure there's some sort of mutual friendship going on
Mm-hmm,
there. But to me, with all this testimony coming out, the jury has to be, I want to hear from the driver. Why have we not heard from the
Absolutely,
driver?
and if they don't bring her up, they will be going.
She has to testify.
Scratching their head, yeah,
yes.
they will.
She has to testify.
Cross-examination be the most fun, and
Yes.
with those defense lawyers, it's going to be fireworks. That's going to be a good, interesting day to watch, and watch again,
Yes.
too.
Yes. And talk about.
Right?
All right, Shay Ray is saying he jumped out. So Shay Ray is pointing to that as being a I guess an important
Yep,
fact
that's
for
why
That
this.
is
Cross.
important.
That was
The
brought
car
up
was
across.
still moving. He
And
jumped out at the
out.
hospital.
Yes.
That seems to say he was very concerned to get her inside of the hospital to alert people
Call
on the
ahead, call
outside that
911.
something was going on.
You're jumping ahead, why didn't you
very
call?
true.
Hello, the phone. That
All right,
kills me.
Tracy now saying, talking about the nurses, those nurses today were all over the place, and the last witness who heard something in passing, what's up with that? And this is the last nurse who testified today said that she was walking past Tex and heard him say that I was cleaning my gun in the bathroom and I shot her. Now, she didn't know who he said it to, he didn't say it to her, but she says she did hear it. Is this a big deal or not a big deal?
The way I thought the cross-examination came on that particular witness, it just she did not come off as a very good
Credible.
witness to move the ball down the line for the prosecution. I didn't think she was a good witness. The
Yeah.
good news is it was at 5 o'clock or 4:30, whatever time it was. At the end of the day, prosecution probably maybe planned a weaker witness.
Well, I think what
come in
they're
there.
planning is that there's going to be other folks coming in to testify about other stories that
There's
were
6
told.
stories. Remember, there was a 6.
There
at
were
the
supposed to be
beginning.
6
Yeah.
stories. So
Yeah.
if in fact there are 6 different stories
Yeah,
at
to
the
highlight the
hospital.
inconsistencies. I mean,
Right.
that's what they're
Didn't
going to
seem
continue to do.
credible.
She
I mean,
did not
just-
seem credible.
It didn't work for me.
When I heard it, I was like, if you're having a conversation with someone, then okay. But if
Yeah.
you're just walking
Walking
past,
by.
it's like the game of telephone. Did you really hear that, or did you
Doesn't work for
think
me.
you heard that?
Sure.
And you heard just a little piece of the conversation. You didn't hear the context. So I'm not giving it a lot of weight myself, but I think it's there because there's going to be other stories adding up to 6 at some point here. Folks, if you have any questions or comments, every night at 7:30 you can start posting them. Let me see if there's anything else we got to cover from there. All right. Latonia, member of the Dream Team, saying, then why wouldn't she want to see him so that she can tell him that she believes it was an accident? Also, wouldn't she want him not to be living with this for the rest of his life if she knows
Exactly,
she's
Latonia.
dying and
Maybe
she believed it was an
Maybe you're on
accident?
the same page, Latonia. We're on the
Listen,
right same
and
page.
maybe he's just not the last person she wants to see before she believes she's going to die, which she did.
That would be the last person
truly
I want to see,
believe
my children
that
and my
she was gonna-
husband.
They didn't have a great marriage. And many, 50% of Americans don't. So, I mean, I don't know that in and of itself says much for, they had problems. They always had people around them.
Right
They
after
never spent
you're
a lot of
shocked
time
by the husband.
together. I think it matters.
I think
I'm
it
just
matters
not
because
sure
she's
that
going to want to
it's...
have that closing and closure of, you know what?
Sure.
I know you didn't kill me.
But
You
she's
didn't intend
already
to kill
said
me.
it was an accident, which is stronger than saying, I don't want to see my husband. She's already proclaimed it's an accident, which she could have easily said, Tex shot me.
She's in the front seat. She didn't know what in the hell happened. You
Well,
know?
and then what we also don't know is what the conversation is as
She knew
they're
what
trying to
not to
get
say
to the
was an
hospital.
accident.
Is he saying, oh, it was an accident, he keeps telling her it's an accident? We don't know. Danny Joe, again, is the one who's going to tell us what happens when the gun goes off.
Yeah.
So one other thing and I just want to ask you in general, prosecutors have a lot of witnesses. I
Yeah.
mean, we put
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
nurse was testifying, a couple valet people.
Yeah.
Do you think they're putting too many witnesses on the stand?
No, honestly,
They have to.
They have to. I
They
know
have to.
it's hard as just a person watching it. Even me, when I'm trying cases.
No,
I'm like,
but to me, it's
Yeah, the jurors need to
does
get
it
all
make
that.
does,
Have to.
if you
It's what
put
our
witnesses
law
up that
is in
don't
the
have
Constitution.
like something really that
Doesn't
help
matter.
you.
You
Still
don't know
bring
what
them.
you
You
don't
gotta
know
bring
what
it
it
all.
means to any one of those jurors.
Okay.
So it's important, and the hospital administrator.
is
There
what
was
it
a
is,
lot
yeah.
today. Was not a very exciting day, but it was important to have all those
And you
witnesses.
have to do the mechanical part. You had to bring in that video, and you had to lay the foundation, do these things that are crashingly boring, but yet you have to do it by law to get the
Right.
video in,
That's-
to evidence. So she had to bring that person in so that she could talk about the
video.
timing on
Yeah.
there. But I have to comment, one thing I thought was interesting. Did you see the video that was that 3D video by that Sandy Springs police
Yeah, the
officer?
scan video. That,
Do you know what I thought they were doing? When I first saw him pull up, because I didn't read up on who this witness was, is I thought they were pulling up the GPS data of the phone to show where they were.
Yeah, no.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's
No.
so cool.
They were
You
just
can do that.
They were basically doing in court what we did Monday night
Yes,
here,
yes,
which
Retracing.
is retracing the steps. Only they took the wrong
They
route.
started on 10th Street. That
They-
confused me to death.
Yeah, they started the recreation on 10th Street, and they got destroyed on cross-examination because they never
Yes.
drove on 10th Street. They should have just watched our Facebook show
That's
on Monday
right.
night, and you can go back on our Facebook page and find
right.
it, and you'll see as
And
we
they'll know it
retrace
was out Piedmont.
all the way from the connector to the exit
I
to
went on the bus.
Edgewood to Piedmont, all the way up. We took the ride, and another night we're going to take a hospital tour. We're going to do that
Oh,
as
that's
well to show where the
excellent.
different hospitals are.
That'll be fun.
But in the meantime, Lauren Katie saying, of course she thought it was an accident. She was shot in the back and didn't think her husband was going to kill her. Meanwhile, Rebecca is smelling greed and a mistress.
Yes.
And
Yes.
by the way, so yesterday, Tex McIver, there was testimony from the personal assistant of Diane that Tex is telling the personal assistant before the memorial for Diane, before he picks up the ashes, which he actually never picked up, a friend picked them up, he is saying, hey, you know what? Janie's having trouble with her husband. Maybe I should get back with her, who's also Diane's friend
Yes.
and neighbor for years,
Yes.
a closer friend to her than him,
Scum.
and unreal. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
shall
he's-
see if there's a mistress anywhere.
He's a scumbag. I mean, I think we're realizing that, and even to bring something like that up, even in
Too
jest,
soon. You know,
too
we say that
Too
cliche
soon.
too soon, but that's obviously, even if you're 75, that's too soon.
Too soon.
Big time, way too soon.
All right.
I mean, come on.
Well, we're out of time for tonight. We do this every night at 7:30 right here, and then you can watch the trial streaming, of course, beginning at around 9 o'clock in the morning, finishes somewhere around 5. You come here at 7:30, we'll show you a few highlights, then we'll do some analysis, and then we'll break it all down for you 11 o'clock on the late feed. Big thanks to Mo Ivory and Meg Strickler, 2 members of our dream team. And tomorrow night, 7:30, we're going to return you to the scene. We're going to take you to the back of the car, not the actual car, but our car, with a firearms expert. Take a look at the gunshot, some angles, the hammer, and all that sort of stuff. We're going to take a look at the, yes, that's tomorrow night at 7:30 right here on our Facebook Live program. In the meantime, I'll see you at 11 on the late feed, folks. Take care.